A warning before you listen.
What you are about to hear is not meant for children, nor for the faint of heart. This is an unfiltered retelling of ancient myths, told as they were born, raw, violent, unsoftened. Expect scenes of brutality, curses that linger, betrayals that reshape fate, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. These myths were never meant to lull children to sleep. They were forged in blood, shadow, and fire. So ask yourself, are you ready to hear them as they were first told? Sources and references can be found in the episode description.
Chapter 9. From the Epic, the Uprising. From the cave to the edge of war. The throne trembles when the king began to vomit himself. At first, nothing happened. He lifted the chalice and drank it, as he did every night. He swallowed the wine like one swallowing his own deserved glory. Even his smile didn't flinch. But the throne beneath him did. The palace walls exhaled, as if they had been holding their breath for 1,000 years. The flames in the sconces dimmed, not by any wind, but as if embarrassed by what they were about to witness. In the center of the hall sat Cronus, as he always had, chest held high, belly tight like a burial shroud, but something small, began to stir inside him. Something unseen, but the body began to hear it. The first tremor was a subtle twitch between the thighs, climbing up the spine like a betrayal quietly filing charges against its king. Cronus laughed, a drunken laugh, the kind only a monarch knows, who ends his nights belching over the bones of those he devoured. But tonight, the belch was silent, salty, hot. He placed the cup on the table, didn't know why it suddenly felt heavy. "This wine," he muttered, wiping his mouth, "tastes like dirt. Who changed the barrel?" The servants looked on in silence. Zeus stood in the back, unmoving but ripening like a quiet storm boiling in its own skin. Cronus reached for his gut. Something stirred. It wasn't food. It wasn't digestion. It was a prophecy, scraping the walls of his intestines from the inside. He roared suddenly. "Where is the cook? Did you poison me? Who put this rot in the wine?" But the rot wasn't in the drink. It was in his gut. He clutched his stomach, curled slightly forward, gasped not from pain, but from recognition. The throne grew cold beneath him. The silk cushion beneath him turned to ice. Then came the sweat, dripping from his brow, down his neck, sliding between his legs as if fear itself was being excreted through the skin. Cronus whispered, in a voice usually reserved for prisoners in chains, "What is this? Something moves inside me. It's not food. It's not pleasure. This feels like them." He leaned over, and out of his mouth came something slick, colorless, but its scent was unmistakable. The scent of a womb that had buried the names of his children. One of the guards stepped forward cautiously. "Shall we call for help, my king? Shall we stop them?" But Cronus didn't answer. He opened his mouth, closed it again, as if trying to scream, but terrified of hearing what might answer back from within. In the shadows, Zeus watched. He did not advance. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. He stood still, like a cold venom that knew tonight would not kill, but would rearrange what tyranny had swallowed, until it came back out in the shape of rage, of names, of bodies, of breaths too sacred to remain imprisoned in darkness. Cronus slammed the table. It cracked beneath his hand. "One of you," he bellowed, "has betrayed me. Someone poisoned my blood. Who, which one of you, brought them back to me?" but no one answered. The walls began to recoil. The curtains clung to the stone as if afraid to be accomplices in this unfolding crime. And in the great hall there was only a king, beginning to hear his own voice echo from inside, and an ancient whisper. "You swallowed your children. Now it's time to vomit." Suddenly the body jolted. Cronus lurched forward, his hand crushing the edge of the table until it shattered beneath his grip. Then he coughed, not a cough, but a heaving. From his mouth spilled a pale, sticky thread, writhing like it searched for a name in the dark. Something moved in his throat. It wasn't food. It wasn't air. It was an old promise returning. The chapter ends, but the tyrant's mouth does not. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why. We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.